subject matter, meaning of Satrajit and Śatadhanvā. After Akrūra visited Hastināpura and he reported the condition of the Pāṇḍavas to Krishna, there were further development that the Pāṇḍavas were transferred to a made of Srila, and later on set fire into the house, and everyone understood that the Pāṇḍavas with their mother Kuntī were killed. This information was also sent to Lord Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma. Both of them, consulting together, decided to go to Hastināpura to show sympathy to the relatives in their bereavement, although everything was known to him. Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma knew it certainly that the Pāṇḍavas could not be killed in that fire devastation, but in spite of their knowing to the contrary, they wanted to go to Hastināpura, take part in the bereavement. After going there, Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma first of all saw Bhīṣmadeva, because he was the chief man of the Kuru dynasty. Then they saw all together with Kṛpācārya and Vidura, Gāndhārī and Droṇa, other members of the Kuru dynasty. They were not sorry, because they wanted that the Pāṇḍavas with their mother might be killed, but other family members headed by Bhīṣma, they were actually very sorry for the incidents, and Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma expressed equally sorrow with them, without any disclosure of the actual situation. When Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma was out of the city of Dwarka, there was a conspiracy to take away the jewel known as Samantha from Satrajit, and the chief of the conspiracy was Satadhanvā. It appears from the fact that Satadhanvā, along with others, wanted to marry Pāṇḍavas, the beautiful daughter of Satrajit, but Satrajit, although superficially promised everyone that he would give in charity his beautiful daughter to so many candidates, but later on the whole decision was changed, and Satadhanvā was given to Kṛṣṇa along with the jewel Samantha by Satrajit in order to be free from the awkward position. Satrajit had no desire to give the jewel Samantha to Kṛṣṇa, but as Kṛṣṇa formally wanted the jewel from him, he delivered it with his daughter to Kṛṣṇa. But Kṛṣṇa, knowing his mentality, accepted his daughter but returned the jewel. Satrajit actually did not want to separate with the jewel. After getting it back from Kṛṣṇa, he was satisfied and keeping it with him always. In the absence of Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma, there was a conspiracy by all men even including Akrūra and Kṛpācārya, were devotees of Lord Kṛṣṇa. Akrūra and Kṛpācārya joined the conspiracy because they wanted the jewel for Krishna. They knew that Krishna wanted the jewel and Satrajit had not delivered it properly. They wanted to keep it by so many devices. Satadhanva and others joined the conspiracy because they were disappointed in not having the hand of Satadhanva. In that big conspiracy, some of them incited Satadhanva to kill Satrajit and take away the jewel from him. Question is generally raised why a great devotee like Akrūra joined also this conspiracy. So also why Kṛpācārya also joined this conspiracy, although both of them were devotees of the Lord. Answer is given by great authorities like Goloka and others that Kuru, although he was a great devotee, he was cursed by the inhabitants of Vrindavan on account of his taking away Krishna from their midst. So, on account of their feelings being wounded by Akrūra, he was forced to join this conspiracy made by this sinful man. Similarly, Kṛpācārya, although he was a devotee, but on account of his intimate association with Kansa, he also contaminated some sinful reaction. Therefore, he also joined the conspiracy. So in this way, Satadhanva, being inspired by all the members of the conspiracy, one night he entered in the house of and killed him while he was sleeping. Satadhanva was a sinful man of abominable character. Although he was not to live for many days on account of his sinful activities, still he decided to kill Satrajit while he was sleeping at home. When he entered the house for killing Satrajit, all the women, inmates of the house, began to cry very loudly, and in spite of great protest by crying, Satadhanva mercilessly butchered Satrajit without any hesitation, exactly like a butcher kills an animal in the slaughterhouse. When Krishna was absent from home, his wife Satyavati, the daughter of Satrajit, was also present on that night of his killing, and she became too much afflicted on account of father being mercilessly killed, and thus began to cry, my dear father, how you have been mercilessly been killed." The dead body of Satrajit was not immediately moved for cremation because Satadhanva immediately wanted to go to Krishna in Hastināpura. Therefore, the whole body was preserved in an oil tank so that Krishna may come back and see the dead body of Satrajit so that he could take real action against Satadhanva. Satadhanva immediately started to inform Krishna about the ghastly death of his father, of her father. Krishna, being informed of the sudden murdering of his father-in-law, from Satadhanva began to lament like ordinary man, expressing his great sorrow in the incidents. Lord Kṛṣṇa although he had nothing to do with the action and reaction of this world, still, because he was playing the part of a human being, he expressed his full sympathy with the bereavement of Satadhanva, and his eyes were filled with tears on hearing about the death of his father-in-law. Thus began to lament, oh, what unhappy incidents had taken place. In this way, both Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma, along Satadhanva, the wife of Kṛṣṇa, immediately returned to Dwarka and began to make different plans how to kill Satadhanva and take away the jewel from him. Satadhanva, although he was a great outlaw in the city, still he was very much afraid of Kṛṣṇa's power, and thus he became very much afraid of him. Understanding the plan of Kṛṣṇa for killing Satadhanva, the desire of being saved from being killed by Kṛṣṇa in that conspiracy, he immediately went to take shelter of Kṛpācārya, and on his approach, Kṛpācārya began to say as follows: I shall never be able to offend Lord Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma, because they are not ordinary persons. They are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Who can be saved from that if one has offended Rama and Kṛṣṇa? Nobody can be saved from their wrath. Kṛpācārya continued to say that Kamsa, so powerful and assisted by so many demons, could not be saved from the wrath of Kṛṣṇa. And what to speak of Jarasandha, who was defeated 18 times by Kṛṣṇa in the fight. And at last Jarasandha had to return from the fighting in disappointment. In this way, when Satadhanva was refused help by Kṛpācārya, he went to Akrūra for the same purpose, implored him to help him in that awkward condition. Akrūra also replied that both Rama and Kṛṣṇa were themselves the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and anyone who knows their unlimited strength would never dare to offend them or fight with them. He informed Satadhanva that Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma were so powerful that by simply willing, they are creating the whole cosmic manifestation, maintaining and dissolving it. Unfortunately, persons who are bewildered by the illusory energy cannot understand the strength of Kṛṣṇa, although the whole cosmic manifestation is fully under his control. He cited the examples exhibited by Kṛṣṇa even at the age of 7 years old, and how he lifted the Govardhan hill and continued to hold up the mountain for 7 days, exactly like a child carries a small umbrella. Kuru plainly informed Satadhanva that he offered his most respectful obeisances to Kṛṣṇa, that he is the super soul of everything that is created and the original cause of all causes. And Akrūra also refused to give shelter to Satadhanva. He decided to deliver the Samantak jewel unto him, riding on a horse which could run great speed up to 400 miles at a stretch. He ran away from the city on the back of that horse. Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma were both informed of running away of Satadhanva Therefore they immediately also got up on their chariot and fought with a flag which was marked by the photo of Akrūra. Krishna was specifically angry upon Satadhanva and wanted to kill him because he had killed a superior personality, Satrajit. Satrajit happened to be the father-in-law of Kṛṣṇa, and it is the injunction of the Shastras that anyone who has had rebelled against a superior person, Gurudra, such person must be punished in proportion to the volume of offense. So Satadhanva killed Satrajit, the father-in-law of Kṛṣṇa. Therefore, he was determined to kill him by any way. The horse, being too much exasperated, died immediately near a garden house of Mithila. So Satadhanva, when he was unable to take help of the horse, he began to run away on legs with great speed. To make justice to Satadhanva, Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma left their charity and began to follow Satadhanva on their legs. So Satadhanva and Kṛṣṇa were running on legs, but Kṛṣṇa immediately took his disc, cut off the head of Satadhanva, separated from his body. When Satadhanva was killed, Kṛṣṇa searched out the jewel, Samanta, from his clothing, but he could not find it out. When the jewel could not be found out, Kṛṣṇa came back to Balarāma and said that we have uselessly killed this person because the jewel is not found in his body. Sri Baladeva suggested to Kṛṣṇa that the jewel might have been kept in custody of some other man in Dwarka. So you better return to Dwarka city and search out the jewel by proper investigation. Sri Balarāma expressed his desire to remain in the Mithila city for some days because he was very intimately friendship with the king and he wanted to stay there for some days. So Sri Balarāma did not return, but Kṛṣṇa returned to Dwarka. Balarāma entered the city of Mithila. The king of Mithila saw the arrival of Sri Balarāma in his city. He became very much pleased and received the Lord with great honor and hospitality. Immediately he presented so many valuable things before Balaramji in order to seek his pleasure on the occasion. Sri Balarāma lived in that city for several years. The king of Mithila, namely Janak Maharaj, was very honorably receiving Baladevji. During this time, Duryodhana, the eldest son of Dhritarashtra, took the opportunity of coming to Balarāma and learned from him art of fighting with club. Next one, Kṛṣṇa also, after killing Satadhanva, returned back to Dwarka, and in order to please his wife Satadhanvā, he informed her of the death of Satadhanva, the killer of her father. But he also informed her that the jewel was not found in his possession. Then, according to religious principle, Kṛṣṇa, along with Satadhanvā, performed all kinds of ceremonies after death of his father-in-law, Satrajit. In that ceremony, all friends and relatives of the family joined together. So, Akrūra and Kṛpācārya, who were a prominent two members in the conspiracy for killing Satrajit, and incited Śatadhanvā to kill him. When both of them heard of the death of Satadhanva by Krsna, and they heard also that Krishna had returned to Dwarka, immediately both of them, namely Akrūra and Kṛpācārya, left Dwarka. The city of Dwarka was faced with many kinds of pestilence and natural disturbances on account of the absence of Akrūra from the city. Actually, this impression of the citizen of Dwarka was a kind of superstition. But in fact, while Lord Kṛṣṇa was present there cannot be any pestilence, famine, or natural disturbances. The superstition that in the absence of Akrūra there was evidences of inauspicity in Dwarka was due to the following reason. Sometimes back in the province of Kashi, within bracket Varanasi, there was severe drought and practically no rainfall. At that time, the king of Kashi arranged the marriage of his daughter known as Gāndhārī with Śatadhanvā, the father of Akrūra. This was done by the king of Kashi on the advice of some astrologer, and actually it was effective that after the marriage of the king's daughter with Śatadhanvā, there was sufficient rainfall in that province. On the strength of this supernatural power of Śatadhanvā, his son Akrūra was also considered equally powerful, and people were under impression that wherever Akrūra or his father would remain, there would be no natural disturbance, famine, or drought. Actually, that kingdom is considered to be happy where there is no famine, pestilence, excessive heat and cold, and people are happy mentally, spiritually, and bodily. As soon as there is some disturbance on this condition of life, people would adduce cause to some extraordinary man in the city. Thus, there was a great rumor that on account of absence of Akrūra, things inauspicious are happening. So after the departure of Akrūra, some of the elderly members of the town began to gossip that on account of the absence of the jewel Samanta from the city, there were some inauspicious signs. When Lord Kṛṣṇa heard all this rumor made by the people, he decided to call back Akrūra from the kingdom of Kashi. Akrūra was in relationship with Krishna, his uncle. Therefore, when he came back to Dwarka, Lord Kṛṣṇa first of all welcomed him, defeating a superior person. Krishna is the super soul in everyone's heart. Therefore, he knows everything what is going on in everyone's heart. He knew everything what has happened in connection with Akrūra's conspiracy with Satadhanva. Therefore, he smilingly began to address Akrūra in the following words. He addressed him as the chief of the munificent men. My dear uncle, it is already known to me that the jewel Samanta was left by Satadhanva with you. Although presently there is no direct claimant of the Samantic jewel from you, because King Satrajit has no male issue. his daughter Satadhanvā, although is not very much anxious for this jewel, still her expected son would be the legal claimant of the jewel after performing the regulative principles of inheritance as grandson of Satrajit. In other words, Lord Kṛṣṇa indicated by this statement that Satadhanvā was already in pregnancy and her son would be the real claimant for the jewel and would certainly take the jewel from you. This jewel is so powerful that no ordinary man would be able to keep it. I know that you are very much pious in activity, so there is no objection of the jewel being kept with you. There is one difficulty that my elder brother, Sri Balarāma, does not believe my version that the jewel is with you. I therefore request you, O the large-hearted, to show me the jewel only once before my other relatives, so that they may be pacified from various kinds of rumors. You cannot, however, deny that the jewel is not existing with you, because actually we can see how you have enhanced your opulence, how you are performing different kinds of sacrifices on the altar made of gold only. As already stated before, that wherever the jewel would remain, keeper would get every day almost about 9 months of pure gold produced by the jewel. Kuru also getting in the same proportion, and he was distributing gold very profusely on the occasion of performing different kinds of sacrifices. Lord Kṛṣṇa gave Akrūra positive evidence of his possessing the Samantak jewel on account of his lavishly spending in gold. In this way, when Lord Kṛṣṇa, in friendly terms and in sweet language, impressed Akrūra about the real fact, and Akrūra understood that nothing could be concealed from the knowledge of Sri Krishna. At that time, he brought the valuable jewel, shining like the sun, covered by cloth, and presented it before Krishna. In this way, Lord Kṛṣṇa took the Samantak jewel in his hand and showed it to all his relatives and friends present there. And again, he returned the jewel to Akrūra so that they would know that the jewel was actually in Dwarka city and kept by Akrūra. This story of Samantak jewel is very significant. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that anyone hearing about the story of the Samantak jewel or describing about it, or simply by remembering it, one would be free from all kinds of defamation, reaction of all impious activities, thus would attain a highest perfectional condition of peace. Next word. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 57th chapter, Krishna, on the matter of killing of Satrajit and Śatadhanvā.